I'm Dr. Gary Krause, neurosurgeon and founder of the Krause TBI Pain and Spine Institute in Houston, Texas. And I'm delighted to be talking to you today. I'm going for a walk. It's a warm day. It's about 96 degrees, but for Houston, that's about a moderate temperature for the summer. And I'm pleased to be out in the open here, surrounded by a lot of natural wildlife. I'm next to a bayou. There's a beautiful plant life, birds, flowers, and hopefully not an alligator. But in Houston, and especially in the southern coast of Texas, that is occasionally a rare reality. As a neurosurgeon, it's up to me, if I treat patients with brain injury, especially in the subacute or chronic phase, to recognize not only the physical concerns that might arise from neurological injury, but also the emotional, the cognitive, the behavioral difficulties, interactions with family, friends, employers. Those are critical. So what I'd like to do is, on the Krause TBI podcast video, explore and discuss several features. We're certainly going to go over anatomy, biomarkers, imaging, treatment of patients who've suffered traumatic brain injury. We're also going to be discussing with scientists, researchers, patients themselves, understand their experiences. We're also going to be discussing with psychologists, psychiatrists, the entire group of healthcare professionals who works with, treats, and understands patients who have suffered a traumatic brain injury. Stress is a normal part of every life. Day to day, we experience stress even if we haven't had illness, we haven't had an injury. We experience stress just from work, from family relations, from other things that happen in life. But when, in addition to normal everyday stress, we encounter physical illness, such as pain in the body, tumor, cancer, traumatic brain injury, that then exponentially amplifies the stress that we experience. But let's just talk about stress in general. Stress is a part of normal everyday life. But let's go over stress that we also sometimes create ourselves, and a mindset or a mindfulness that we can use to help address that. So, a number of years ago, when I was just doing a surgery, a scrub nurse, who was a nice gentleman, is a young gentleman who was about to get married, and he told me that his father said to him that he needs to be more ambitious if he's going to get married. So he said to me, "Dr. Krause, how is it you're so ambitious?" And I didn't know exactly how to answer that question. And so I said, let me think about it, and I'll discuss it with you tomorrow when we're going to do another surgery tomorrow or so. So I thought about it, and this is how I explained to him the next day. And I still feel this way. I feel that every day we should try to do what we enjoy. We should try to live our dream, not somebody else's dream. We truly should make our lives around so that most of the things we do, we enjoy. I've been fortunate in that most all of my life, I've really enjoyed what I've done. I started off in physics and electrical engineering. I enjoyed that. I transitioned to medicine. I enjoyed that. I've had various roles in life, and neurosurgery's really been a very enjoyable career for me. Patients have entrusted me with their lives. I get a tremendous joy out of impacting and helping patients. But that joy out of helping people can be achieved in many different industries, many different specialties and businesses. I would say it's very important to enjoy what you do. If it is true, the saying, a person who enjoys what they do really never works a day in their life. There is a lot of truth to that. There's also a saying that for a person who enjoys what they're doing, if you ask them if they're at work or at play, they say they're both, because work is play and play is work. And although not everything about every day can be enjoyable, of course there's always going to be things we don't enjoy to some degree, but if we strive to really every day be in touch with our feeling and try to do what we feel is enjoyable, if we try to impact the lives of others in a positive way, and that could be done in so many manners, inside medicine, outside of medicine, every kind of business and opportunity has the opportunity to impact the lives of others and help them. That's a wonderful feeling. And to really enjoy what you do every day, you'll never be bored, you'll always be excited, and I have found that is a good way to live, and it makes life a great joy for an individual and all those around them. I'd like to touch upon for a moment the subject, what I would feel is called big and important. And this is an interesting observation I've had about my own life. I have found that early in life, and this goes back a long time, when I was in elementary school, I used to think that when I get to junior high school, I'm going to feel big and important. And when I got to junior high school, I didn't feel big and important. So I thought in junior high, when I get to high school, I'm going to really feel big and important. And when I got to high school, I did not feel big and important. So I thought to myself, when I get to college, then I'm going to be really big and important. And I will say that I did feel big and important one weekend in college. I remember coming back to where I lived, and I was playing a varsity tennis team, and I was wearing my red college varsity sweatsuit from the tennis team. And for one weekend, when I came back to where I grew up, I felt big and important. But that went away within a day or two. But then I thought, well, when I get to medical school, I'm going to feel really big and important. But as you guessed it, I didn't feel big and important. So then in medical school, I thought, well, when I get to residency in neurosurgery, then I'm going to feel really big and important. But again, I did residency and I finished. I didn't feel big and important. So then I finally thought, okay, when I get to practice, I'm going to have practice in neurosurgery, then I'm going to feel big and important. And yet, that day never came that I felt big and important. I still have never felt that way. And I thought, why is that? And I think part of the reason is that I feel very lucky to be doing what I'm doing. I'm very fortunate. I enjoy what I do. And I've come to realize when you enjoy what you do so much and you feel very fortunate, you never really feel big and important. At least for me, it's a great blessing to have patients trust me with their lives. I'm very honored by that. I'm very honored and grateful to have learned and been trained by my mentors. And that goes from my early mentors, even in elementary, junior high school, to my mentors in college, my mentors in residency, and my mentors in fellowship. And also, my patients have been huge mentors of mine. I've learned vast amounts, both intellectually, emotionally, personally. I've learned about courage from them as they face some of the toughest times of their life and some of the toughest illnesses. I've learned about humanity, and I'm overall very grateful. But in a summary, I think that's why I've never come to feel big and important. I enjoy what I do. I'm very fortunate and grateful for what I do. For each of us, anything could change in a flash of a moment, and life could be different. So I'm very grateful, and I'm grateful to be able to discuss with my patients and with you. I hope this would be a channel where I can share my thoughts, educate, interview experts, interview a variety of people, interview those who have suffered themselves from traumatic brain injury, and offer some insight, knowledge, and value that will positively impact the lives of others. I'd like to touch upon a topic which I would call big and important. A lot of stress is placed upon people, I find, in life by trying to live somebody else's dream. We should try to get in touch with ourselves, with our feelings. What is it that we really want? And we should live our own dream. We might see others as big and important, and we want to be big and important. But if we're living our own dream, and we're really enjoying what we do every day, will we really feel big and important if we're really working fundamentally at what we do love and enjoy? So I feel that every day, if we're doing what we love, what we enjoy, and it really seems like fun, we may not feel ever that we get to the stage that we feel big and important because we're having fun. So I would say we should each live our own dream, not somebody else's dream. A lot of times, we're brought up in society. We have benchmarks that are imposed on us since the day we were born. By a certain age, we should be doing such a thing. And by a certain age, we should be finished such a grade. And by a certain age, we should finish this school. And by a certain age, we should retire. Well, everyone lives a different lifespan. Everyone's born at a different time, lives a different period. We're all each individuals. There is no standardization of any of this. The best is, our benchmark should be, as long as each day we're doing something we enjoy and we're true to our heart. That doesn't mean something that somebody else thinks we should enjoy. That means something that we think we should enjoy. And if we're doing that, I think a lot of that worry to be and live somebody else's dream goes away, and we can start to focus on what we really want to be happy. And it's very hard to do. It's very hard for any of us to get in touch with our real selves. Very hard. But I think that is one component that leads to inner contentment. Just one of the components. So I'd like to share more discussions. I'd like to have thoughts of many others. I'd like to interview and discuss with many people. And if you do like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe or follow. And also, please put in your comments, your feedback about topics that you'd like to hear about and suggestions that you would have. It's a warm day in Houston, Texas right now. It's about 96 degrees, which for summer in Houston is about a moderate temperature. In treating patients who've had traumatic brain injury, they often have anxiety, depression, worry, PTSD, many other cognitive, emotional, and behavioral concerns. But what we can do is address just general modes and ways of thinking that are positive ways of thinking, that are nurturing for our mind and for our brain. Because if they help a person who hasn't suffered injury, they're certainly going to be helpful for those who have suffered. An injury can only amplify and worsen any existing concerns. And similarly, if we find strategies or ways to help with those concerns and worries that everyone experiences, they will also be helpful for someone who's suffered a traumatic brain injury and help to create an environment in which healing can occur, a positive environment for the brain, which promotes and fosters healing. It's a beautiful day in Houston, Texas. It's about 96 degrees, which is not necessarily warm for Houston. That's probably a moderate temperature, but people are still out. It's later in the afternoon and enjoying some of the scenery and going for some exercise. I'm standing here next to a bayou. Probably the sounds you hear are cars traveling over a bridge which passes over the bayou. But even at this location, in the middle of a city, this simple feature of a flowing water in a bayou can bring us peace and serenity if we choose to. It's up to us to choose every day if we wish to have peace and serenity. That doesn't work 100% of the time, I admit that. But a large part of what we see and do every day, a large part of our perception of happiness and contentment is generated from within us. So let's seize that opportunity to try to make every day the best one we can. Some things we can't avoid, but let's be the best we can be for ourselves and all those around us. Thank you very much. I thank you very much for listening to the Kraus TBI Pain and Spine podcast video. If you do like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe or follow us, and please also leave comments about what topics you'd be interested in having me discuss or any other areas of subjects of interest. So until we talk again, I look forward and have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you very much.